Like it's 1985 here with my review of Revoltech Queen Blade Leina. Now this is a figure I picked up kind of as an impulse buy. I like the look of her because she has that medieval type of, you know, Xena the Warrior Princess type of look to her, which is one of the styling cues that I like. So I picked her up. She was about 35 bucks, so she was not cheap. You know, so the figure itself is has Revoltech joints, of course, and the figure itself is made of like PVC, which I think is like a lighter type of plastic. So you don't have the solid type of feel that you would like in a traditional action figure, like just like Marvel Legends, for example. And I find that's kind of off-putting. The joints themselves are, you know, they're a lot more on the loose side. I mean, because they are supposed to be able to achieve a lot more range of motion. But I think at the same time that kind of lends also to this fragile feeling of the figure, and that's not typically like how I want my action figures to feel. I want them to be, you know, solid, well put together feeling. Not that this is a bad product. It's definitely definitely looks good, and definitely displays well. But it's the kind of figure where you kind of would just pose and then you would just display it on your shelf. That's really what it's meant for, I think. Whereas like a Marvel Legends, you know, you're going to take that out, maybe pose it more than you would this one, because it's just a more solid feeling action figure than this example. So let's go ahead and get into take a look at her here. I will say this also, that the poses that they list on the back of the box, I'll kind of show you that at the end here, can only be achieved with the base that you just saw. It's really not realistic to try to get this thing to pose without the base. And once I realized that, I wasn't quite as frustrated with it. This is my second review, or time reviewing this, my second take, if you will. And once I realized that it has to be on the base in order for it to achieve a lot of these poses, then it didn't bother me so much. So, if we can take a look at her articulation, sort it out. Starting with her head, she's got pretty good articulation in her head, left, right, up and down. Let's see, shoulders, it's going to be hindered a lot by these leather cords here that are wrapped around her upper body. But she can, you know, she has a range of motion back and forward and out like so. Let's see. Her elbow, she can bend the elbow. And it also swivels as well. Swivel joint there. Oops. Here's the Revoltech joint trying to come out. Snap this back in place here. That's the other thing about this. Again, going back to the fragile feeling of it, even if it's not, even if that's part of the design, nonetheless, it lends it to a fragile feeling if these joints are falling out. They're supposed to be interchangeable, I guess, and you can have different Revoltech joints go to different parts of the figure. But so that's the wrist articulation there. She's got molded hands, so there's no finger articulation or that sort of thing. We've got articulation joint there, as you can see. I don't think there's an ab. No, there's just that. You can kind of get her to bend forward a little bit with that waist joint, and of course side to side. Yeah, it's the same joint, isn't it? Yeah. Legs. If we look at the legs, there's pretty good movement. You can go like that, forward. Pretty good there, and then kind of back to the side there a little bit. We've got upper swivel there, just above the knee. Knee articulation, pretty good there, as you can see. Swivel at the knee. And then you got back and forward like this, and you can do a full rotation of the ankle there. So in terms of her accessories, she got this sheath oops, I guess you can't see it there. This sheath for her sword, and it plugs into the back of her armor. She comes with these 2 hands, one mailed and one with the piece of cord wrapped around her hand. Comes with an extra breastplate, battle damaged breastplate, as you can see. And you can see how it plugs in. You just take out the breastplate and plug it into her abdomen area. Now her face has 2 faces. She has this kind of face where she's winking, and kind of like the stepper wives, you just pop off her. Let's just take off her head and make it easier to show you. You just pop up her forehead and then grab something to leverage off of the face here. And you can see how it plugs in. 2 pegs in the holes in the back of her head. Put in the other face. Put down the head there, or the hairline. And you have a different face for kind of a winking face, where she's winking. And you get this Revoltech box, I guess, to store your joints or your parts for the figure. Now, this figure is and it's really meant for adult collectors, and by that I mean it's obviously she's got the ample cleavage going on, but and also if you were to take off this breastplate, what you find underneath is actually anatomically correct, as if you would find on a real woman. So she, much like Janet Jackson, can have a wardrobe malfunction. So I was trying to avoid this throughout the whole review, so that that didn't happen. That happened in my first take, and I decided to retake the whole review, but also just to add some more information as well. So yeah, and recommendations. Again, I go back to the feeling that if you're into this sort of thing, I mean, this is then it's it's probably 35 bucks may not be that much, considering you have to import it from Japan, and considering that using myself as an example, I would pay upwards of 30 bucks for a 3, 4 inch, 5 inch mobile suit and action figure and be completely happy. So if you like what you see, then you're going to pay that much money probably. But I'm not going to buy another of these Queen's Blade, or rather Revoltech Queen's Blade figures. Really, like I was going back to saying before, it's the PVC plastic that really kind of throws me off. It's like everything seems fragile. You just bump her a little bit, she can. Oh well, that's because she's on the stand. But she's really has this fragile feeling to her. The joints are kind of loose, more so than I would like. Which, like I say, overall lends to a more fragile type of feeling that I'm getting from the figure. So much prefer the more traditional Marvel Legends type of action figures, where you have the different type of solid plastic, the stiffer joints. But just in terms of how she looks, the armor looks great. It's got that great color to it, and the details are pretty cool. So you know, it's your call, really. I personally am not going to buy another one. I'd rather spend my money on something else. But, you know, it was, I guess, interesting to try it out. I kind of am interested to find out what the Revoltech Transformers are like. If I can find maybe one for really cheap and give that a try and see how I like it. Maybe I'll like that better. I don't know. Alright everybody, thank you for watching. This has been my review. Revoltech Queen Blade Leina. This has been Like It's 1985. Signing out. Bye.